You are now tuned in to Two Studs in a Pod with the dynamic duo Blaze and Meech, a podcast giving you a candid glimpse into the world of super terrific Uber dykes, but you can call us studs. This week, we're continuing our conversation with Brooklyn Wright of Boy Society and digging deeper into open relationships, creating boundaries, and self reflection. Now, let's get into it. Meech, drop the beat. Welcome back to Two Studs in the Pod, everybody. You already know it's me, Blaze.
And my homie Meech.
This week, we're presenting part 2 of our extensive conversation on radical love. But before we get open, we'd like to give a shout out to Real, aka The Truth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to speaking the truth. Now, Meech, what's really good with you this week?
And this week has been good. I was working from home, so I got a much needed break. Had a nice little 3-day weekend. Got some barbecuing in. Had I got this little blow up like football net kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but you throw the football into it for aiming.
Mm-hmm.
Since we can't get to Dave and Buster's and stuff, so throw footballs, throw baseballs, try to practice your aim. We were playing with that outside with the kids. Got some sprinklers and stuff, just ready for the summertime, to get here and ready to get back to South Florida because we only get like 2 weeks of hot weather here.
Yeah, I saw pictures of people up there, and they had on like hoodies and shit, and I'm like, what? Like I can't. Yeah. I would die.
Hoodies.
Yeah, I would die if I had on a hoodie right now. Like I'm sweating. This was ridiculous.
It's been an adjustment.
Yeah,
I'm really ready to get back.
Nah, man, no, thank you, no, thank you. I'm good. Where I'm at. Still dealing with the puppy, but that's almost over with. And thank God, because it's been such a. I don't know who's more annoyed by that cone. If it's us or her, and the fact that like you gotta walk her on a leash for her to use the bathroom, so she doesn't run and go crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So we had already gotten used to just, letting her go do her thing in the backyard. You feel me? So it was like basically opening the door and standing there and letting her go be a dog and then come back when she's ready. But with this cone and with this surgery, we just had to...
It's complicating things.
Yes, man. I'm like, we just got to the good part of having a dog. And now, here you go with this. But, once it's done, it's done. And she's as annoyed by it as we seem to be. And yes, final preparations for getting ready to dig this hole being made, because not only do I have to dig the hole, but I have to do some other landscaping stuff that I decided to take upon myself. So I have
keep making your list longer.
Well, this was already part of my list. Like I need to put in edging around the inside perimeter of the place or whatever. Okay. And it was something we had already wanted to do, and like some months ago, we came across some professional grade edging for the low, so we jumped on it. So now it's just taking up space in the garage, and I'm really getting tired of it, just looking at it. So I'm like, I need to do something with it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And so, I mean, since we're already digging up the backyard, might as well fucking get to fucking doing more. Up. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's that. And then other than that, grilling and chilling. I mean, we do have an inflatable pool, a couple inflatable pools that I came across a few weeks ago when we were grilling outside, but we can't really do anything like that because the puppy wants to be with us all the time, and she can't get wet. Yeah. So. Yeah, because of
Yeah, we just got a bunch of different inflatable water kind of toys just for the kids because we can't go anywhere really.
Yeah. It sounds like we are all just trying to make it do what it do and keep on doing till we figure this all out. I mean, things are opening back up and trying to get back to normal, but I still need a haircut. I don't know when I'm going to go. I don't know when I'm going to go do that. So now it's time for Stew Peas. And this week, we're jumping back into our conversation with Brooklyn Wright, on the different phases of relationships and the growth that takes place within them. And away we go. So like right now, with your open relationship, do you guys talk to each other about what's going on in your other relationships? Like, is that something that you discuss or?
Well, we're not really doing any open relationship stuff now. I think we will. I think my wife is feeling the itch, so I think that I think she's definitely hinting, even though she's not necessarily saying. I am not the kind of person that needs to know a lot. Like, I'm cool. For the most part, we do not date together, and so I think we know that about ourselves, at least for now. Um, but I think it gets complicated when a relationship gets real, right? Like when your partner falls in love with someone else, then I think there's a level of thing that has to happen. Like, what do you do about holidays? What do you do, about vacations? Yeah, like the complicated shit, right? Like,
right.
how do you make sure that, like, it took me a long time to realize that I was going to have to care about her partner. Like, that to me was some bullshit. I was actually quite upset about
Well, what
that.
do you mean? Why? Because you have to be concerned about, like, okay, it's her birthday, so I get to have her from 6 to 4 and you get to have her from 7 to whatever.
Or better yet, it's her partner's birthday, and so they may want to go take a trip together. They may want to go to LA. They may want to spend the night together that night. Like, it having to care for someone that you at times may feel in competition with, or may feel like maybe taking time from you, like that can be a hard pill to swallow. But you're all better off if you also consider that person, right? So I think that was one of the hardest things for me to learn. And then so we don't necessarily talk about it unless we have to, right? Like, my wife can be shy. So I remember convincing her to go sit at the bar where this person worked and, like, meet. That happened to be what kind of made them connect, which I felt like at first was some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
damn, what, I did this shit.
Like, goddamn, why did I do this shit to myself? You know what I'm saying? But I think I think you are better off if you at least set rules of engagement, right? Like, you need to understand where you and your partner really lie. What are your triggers? What's not going to fly?
Yeah.
And then you also need to treat the other people in your relationships like they're real humans with real emotions, and those emotions need to actually be valid. And I think everyone does that differently depending on what that looks like. Plus, I think it depends on how you are, right? Because some people with open relationships just want a sexual attraction to other people. It's a lot more physical than kind of anything else. For other people, it can be a lot more intimate, right? And so you are looking for someone that is more than just a sex partner or a fuck thing, and you may be looking for something that's a little more date-ish, time, quality, that kind of thing. So I think it's just getting really clear and being open enough to try new things, and also say when things don't work, but being open to making them work in a way that's going to be healing for all people involved.
Well, good communication. Definitely good communication. I just I don't know, I find that part of me, I don't think I can share. I don't think I can share like that. Like, I don't know that the caring. Plus, I think it's interesting because women tend to develop more intimate relationships, especially with other women. Like, that's the connection that women have, supposedly, that's just so strong, and why lesbians are so crazy is because of the connection that women have together. So to know that my person is having that similar type of connection with somebody, which is what I would assume that my person would be having with somebody, and not just be, let's say, for lack of a better term, frivolous sex with random people. So at least I guess I would kind of hope that they would be having a more meaningful relationship than just sex. but at the same time you don't, because now that is more of a competition. Like sex is just sex, but if we're like sharing birthdays and we got to have like divorce separation agreements and shit, like now let's get a little deeper. I don't know about y'all, but for me that's a little hard to come to terms with.
Yeah, no, it's very hard, I think, to come to terms with, especially again when you're like my person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like those things of possession become very real. But I think if you settle long enough, it's not bad, especially if your partner can still show you ways in which everyone can be included and not harmed, right? Like if your partner can still come home, y'all still got quality time. Like, it got to a point now when the wife goes out, I'm like, yes, me time. I'm in the house by myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yes, get naked. It's me. Like, let's do this. Like, so it's also, it works for us in a way that it works for us. But again, I'm not sure it would work if it has not been 20 years.
Right. You guys have that foundation, right? Yes.
Yeah, we got that foundation, and we've spent basically a few lifetimes together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially in lesbian years, we're like 150. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So
there's definitely some lifetimes.
Yeah. So again, I think, I wouldn't recommend it to everyone for sure. But I think, again, I've just learned so much about myself and how to love people and how to care for people and not also need to hold on very tightly or possess them. And so I'm very grateful for the experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible to me. I mean, it's awesome. Like, I think people in relationships are interesting because there's no one way to have a relationship. Whatever works for you, it makes you happy. As long as you're not hurting anybody or hurting yourself, then what is the big deal, really?
And I think that was the best gift that we gave ourselves, was the gift to create it in whatever light that we wanted to. That it didn't need to look like our parents. It didn't need to look like what we saw on TV. It didn't need to look like how straight people did it. Like, we are able to create the life that we want no matter what. And who gonna stop us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, as long as we can take care of ourselves, take care of everyone that we touch around friendships or otherwise, then I think we're doing better than most.
I agree.
That's a fact. Yeah. Wow.
Blown away by the conversation. The unexpected, right?
Yeah, definitely. But those are the best kind, when you could just really just talk freely. I mean, and talk about something that we all have some experience in, which is relationships right now. Yeah, Brooklyn, I don't know if you care to share anything else of your life experiences and being such a long, healthy relationship, because obviously you have to have healthy connections and healthy communication in a relationship that's designed the way that yours is right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's just time, though. We've had a lot of bumps in the road. Like, it's not linear. You know what I mean? Like, give space when it's time to give space. Come back together when it's time to come back together. Be willing to let it all go if that's actually what's healthiest for both of you, right? Like, I can't call it. One day we may decide in year 30 that, look, this was fun. And like, we're gonna do something different. So I think be loose, especially in this age, right? Like, connection is connection. Love more people, and just give your partners freedom, guys. Because I think we, especially as masculine of center people, we got a lot of work to do on what it means to actually love someone. And to love someone, I think, means you want them to be liberated and cared for, and you want them to be able to explore the world in whatever way seems fit for them, and that may not include you. or it just may not include you right now.
Do you think that that's mainly issue with masculine presented women because of them mimicking the men that we've seen and the masculinity and the way it's been displayed to us, especially black and brown community. We imitate a lot of the hip hop that we see because we don't really have other another choice when it comes to that. I mean, some of us, we have our fathers and brothers, but who's to say they're not displaying the proper way to handle masculinity at all? So if we're emulating what we see, which is usually chauvinistic and misogynistic, then maybe that's part of the reason why I guess we are possessive.
Absolutely. So, I mean, let's break that all the way back down, right? So, black men and masculinity are mocking or mimicking after white men, right? Who, if you break down marriage or relationships in general, they were used as possession tools. Like, women were given to men so that they could be protected and cared for because women don't make their own money, right? So, yeah, no one knows how to do partnership correctly. They've been fucking it up since the beginning of time because women had no freedom, right? So you have to, if you really want to love, I won't say correctly, but let's say in a modern, more holistic way, you must give people freedom. It cannot be even if you look at your grandparents, right? Your grandmother may not have loved your grandfather. She may have had to stay in that relationship. Yeah, she may have had to because she could not care for her offspring without his income or without his thing. And historically, he was shitty to her, right? They cheated on them, they hit them. Like, women have really been in some fucked up situations when it comes to love. So I think we're of the generation that gets an opportunity to really do it differently. And not to think of only ourselves first, because we can be very fucking selfish in that way, right? Like I said, masculine center people don't get excited about me being in an open relationship because it's a new way to love people. They love this idea that they get to cheat for free. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like we look at it in a fucked up way.
Right. So it's like open season instead of like, right.
Instead of open communication, because that's really all it is. You end up talking to everyone all the fucking time, right?
Yeah, until it smacks you in your face and your girl is out there with the next stud, right?
Absolutely.
Coming home smiling.
Exactly. Absolutely. And so,
I think it gives you an opportunity to truly love unconditionally, right? Because if the person that you're with, like, you might make them happy in a certain way, but they crave like something else that somebody else can give them. Like, you have to be able to allow them to live. You only get one life to live, right? So
absolutely.
Who am I to deny you that?
Exactly. Who am I to want to lock down your time for 21 years and not give you the freedom to make other connections? Like, that, to me, that can't be love. And so, yeah, we absolutely cannot continue to look at hip hop. Absolutely not. If you've ever heard black women talk about black men, we definitely don't want to emulate that shit. Like, they call niggas trash all day. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So, no, what does it really look like to love unconditionally? I think that was the perfect way of putting it, Meech.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Life. I mean, the things you learn as you mature, like how we used to think when we were younger, that it was just okay to be these ways, and then when when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
And that's the true sign of growth, for sure.
Absolutely.
I just don't know.
Still on the fence. Give it 10 more years.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
I think we're both gonna die.
I mean, just even the open season thought, like, I can see where people get that, and your initial thought is like, what? Like, I've been looking at this girl for the longest time, and now all this, what? I can just go do it, but I mean, I don't know. I know myself, and I would not be able to handle it. I would just be thinking about too much what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? Or
like I said, it definitely was not easy, right? And it made me. I had to put away childish things. Let's say, you know what I mean. I had to grow a fucking set. And be more mature than anybody that I had known or had seen before. But I asked for it. You know what I mean? I was the one that wanted to open the relationship first. So when it came time for that to be reciprocal, how could I deny her?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what
that's
the fuck
the thought
would
you
I
have
look
to
like?
have, right? Yeah.
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 Like it would have been so fucked up for me to deny her. That would not have been love. That would have been selfish. And I was wise enough to know those things. And so I had to sit with myself, and it didn't mean that I wasn't shady at times, right? I made shady fucking comments, right? Like, I definitely had some ill feelings to some things. But again, like, she showed up for me, like, and continues to do that. And so honestly, I just try to match her energy, and hope that I don't fuck it up along the way.
So what is the vibe like out there in LA? Like I guess the people of color, for people of color. I was out in LA, but only for a very short time, and not really enough time to get it like.
Yeah. So I'm actually in Oakland. So I'm in Oakland, which is like 6 hours, 5 hours, 5.5 hours from LA. It's cool. I mean, the housing is shitty. It costs too much for housing out here. But we have like we're one of the most diverse queer places in the world. Like, there are queer people fucking everywhere. Like, we remember getting here and we were walking through the grocery store and there were like 5 couples, like noticeably queer couples, like in the grocery store. We had never seen no shit like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it beats Florida for fucking sure.
Well, it depends on where you at in Florida.
Yeah, I hear you say maybe Orlando's popping, but
no, Miami. No, I don't.
Miami.
No,
got it.
No, Orlando. I live up here now, but I am from Miami. It's totally different.
I mean, it's cool. I think queer people are everywhere. I think they're very comfortable here. It's changing though, right? Because I think people get pushed out just because of the exorbitant prices of housing. And so it shifts, but we still have big ass parties, lots of fucking queer people. Yeah, and I mean, we also got we got the sun and the weed, so it's not a bad place to be. Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like we need to make a trip to Oakland.
Come through. Don't bring the Rona with you though. Don't do that.
No. We staying Rona free.
Yeah, I'm been in the house trying to stay away from
quarantined. Yes,
good.
Yes, that's another thing. Staying is being quarantined for I don't know how long straight in the house with my wife. Like, I mean, we're always together anyway for the most part, but usually I could go to the store. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even able to do that. I'm sure there's a lot of relationships that are being really tested right now.
Like, I know ours was.
Right, and I was like, even thinking about like Meech's situation, because hers is turned into like a long distance type of relationship because they haven't been able to be together since they've had to quarantine from each other. And you guys are together all the time too, right, Brooklyn? Because you obviously live together.
We're living together, and so we definitely have had to figure out how to take space in a healthy way, right? Like, no. Shut up, don't talk to me right now, please. Like, I can't take another conversation. Like, just being honest. I think it does take that. Like, look, I'm gonna really need some time. I think we're blessed. We've got a backyard, so we've got a couple of doors. You can go into a room on your own and just take some space. But I think just being honest. And then I'm hoping, Meech, I'm hoping y'all doing some Zoom sex thing or something. I think that's where it gets lit. I hope people are having. Please tell me y'all are having Zoom sex. I am we're out here rooting.
We're doing
for
our
that.
thing. Yeah, not Zoom. Zoom has too many hackers, but
for real.
FaceTiming and doing
it become a threesome real quick on the Zoom.
Yeah, right? Like, where'd you come from? Trying to hop in on the Zoom. Might as well get an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Get paid.
Listen, if you're gonna do it, you might as well.
I mean, since you guys do the open thing, like, are you guys like a threesome type of couple as well, or
we have never had a threesome. Again, not saying that we never will. We've not found the person I think that we're ready to do that with. And I think our sex life is so juicy on its own, like it's so intimate that I'm not sure that there's room for a third person in that. And I think once you do it, you can't take it back. So I think, it's one thing to know that you have connections with other people. I think it's another thing to see it in my face.
Right. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Deep, like,
there's levels to this shit.
Yeah. And I can take a lot, but like, I'm not sure. We're not there yet. Again, I'm not saying that we wouldn't. We talk about it from time to time, but we have not as of yet. I'm not sure we will.
Well, I mean, after 21 years, I mean, but you never say never, right? You never know. Tomorrow night could be something.
Yeah. Someone might pop up on the scene and we might be like, yo, damn. Yes, I'm me. But I think it's, it's always for us, it's a level of safety.
Yeah. Right now.
It's always that, but just also a level of we're very intentional not to do things that we can't take back.
I think that's a good philosophy. A good philosophy. Obviously, it works. I mean,
it's worked for us.
Yeah,
because forgiving is hard. You know what I mean? Like, you automatically, I think, in relationships have to forgive a lot anyway. You know what I mean? And so it's like we've had some shit that has been really hard to get over. So it's like now we tiptoe around things that may be a little more sensitive and, not try to do the shit we did in our 20s.
Yes, growth.
Growth.
It has been great speaking with you. It was an awesome conversation. I'm glad we pivoted to the
learned a few things.
Yeah, definitely. It was good to actually talk about relationship with somebody who's, I felt like I was in the longest relationship that I know. So somebody who's been in the fire as long as I have, or longer than I have, is very interesting to see, especially the ebbs and flows that you guys have gone through with being together. And then since you were 17, I was thinking about the person I was when I was 17 and who I am now, and the change that happened in between these two numbers.
Right? Yeah, I'm completely different. I'm 38. I just turned 38 Saturday or some day. I don't remember. Last Saturday, not this one, but I'm completely different. And so, we continue to date. We'll continue to figure out. I'll report back as the years go by.
We'll do a follow-up. Yeah. We'll do a follow-up. Like, so what are you guys up to now? Something new and exciting on year 22.
Yeah.
You have any your social media or anything like that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, you can still find us at queerish.co. I may change that shit back to Boy Society. I don't know. We never know what I'm gonna do.
Oh, you changed it on me. See, I knew it.
I did.
Yeah, changed it on me. Okay.
Well, it was. I just kind of felt like it was time. We've been sitting around doing nothing for a really long time. We've definitely held down the space, but I'm older. Y'all are older. Like, we've just been around a long time, so I think it definitely is time to do something different. I don't quite know what that is, so we got the flexibility to do some stuff, but I missed the name, so maybe we'll bring it back. Brooklyn Wright on Facebook. I'm still around there. Brooklyn Wright on LinkedIn. You can find me there. brooklynpresents.com is where you can find me on the website. And it's, it's old and all of that, but slide into the DMs. I am always available on the DMs. It's always me.
All right.
Sweet. Thank you, guys. It was
fun. Thank you. We appreciate you joining us. It was, like I said, great conversation. Through. Yes.
Anytime. I enjoyed Studs in a Pod.
Yes. That sound means it's time for the segment we like to call Too Many Peas in the Pod. This is the part of the show where we like to answer a few of the questions we've received and share with y'all some of the comments and reviews we've received from our listeners. This week, we've got a question from Latrice in Duval. Her question is, I've been in a relationship for 4 years and we have 2 kids, but now my partner wants to see men. but wants us to be in one big happy relationship. Oh no, one big happy family. I'm sorry. I'm not with it. How do I deal? First of all,
mad.
You're
mad.
Yo, you don't deal. That's what I'm about to say.
You pack your shit and keep it moving.
I mean, that's the easy answer. How do you deal? I don't know. 4 years or not. Like, no. Like in the grand scheme of things. I mean, 4 years ain't shit.
No.
Nah. What do you mean one big happy family? This is not big love, okay?
Right? All right, so I'm going to give you a real answer because you might really be dealing with this. If you guys have discussed being in like a poly relationship and, you agree to that up front, then you got to deal with it, I guess. But if she just sprung this shit on you, run as fast as you can because that's just a no.
That's a young money, cash money. No, okay, no. That's all I got to say about that. Just no. That's all I can say. But we do appreciate you sending us a question and trusting us with that. And we always love it when we get to hear from our listeners out there. And hope you guys are doing well. And thank you again to all the essential workers that are continuously being selfless and making it do what it do to keep us all out here safe as possible and rolling along. Hopefully the money gets flowing for everybody soon. And everybody's staying safe out there. Thank you again to Brooklyn for joining us. We definitely gained a new perspective on the different dynamics within relationships. If you'd like to hear more from Brooklyn, you can find her on IG at Boy Society and at Brooklyn the Creator. And on that note, we're going to end the show here. You can find us on IG and Twitter at 2 Studs in a Pod. For the behind the scenes look, you can find Meech at the Homie Meech on IG and Homie Meech on Twitter. And you can find myself at its.me.blaze on IG and it's me blaze2 on Twitter. You can always hit us up on our email with any questions or comments or show ideas you might have at 2studsinapod@gmail.com. That's TWO studsinapod@gmail.com. 2 Studs in a Pod is streaming on major podcast platforms including Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Radio Public, and Overcast. The gratitude is always the attitude, so we want to say thank you for lending us your ear.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.